Sir Isaac Newton was born in 1643 and died in 1727 in England. He discovered Newton's law of universal gravitation, which says the following: every particle attracts every other particle in the universe with a force that is directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between their centers. This is known as the concept of gravity, Newton's first law called gravity. Newton also had a third law. According to Newton's third law, every force has an equal and opposite reaction force. One force and is repelled by another force. These are classical understandings of physics discovered by a professor of physics in England. We know in Torah, everything physical is a manifestation of something spiritual. There is something spiritual that leads to that physical phenomenon. The Orach Chayim HaKadosh, Rav Chaim ibn Attar, one of the greatest Chachamim Rabbanim from Morocco, lived in 1696 to 1743. Isaac Newton lived from 1643 to 1727, around the same time. The Orach Chaim HaKadosh in Shmos, chapter 11, Pasuk 5, says the following: wherever you find an infusion of Kedusha, of sanctity, you will also find a counterforce of negativity and tuma, spiritual blockage. A force of spiritual openness called Kedusha or Tahara, and a counterforce of tuma, spiritual blockage. One force goes this way, the other counters it. Let's now apply this concept of force and counterforce of Newton's law as understood, as Newton was explaining the spiritual concept, basically, of the Orach Chaim HaKadosh, that a spiritual force is countered by a negative force, and the underlying message of life. And that is that we have dualities in life. We have dark and we have light. We have good and we have evil. We have Olam Hazeh and Olam Haba. We have Yetzer HaTov, Yetzer Hara, a force and a counterforce. Both forces are placed in this world by Hashem in order to allow us to choose. The purpose of life is Bechira Chofshis, to choose to do the right thing, to choose to follow Hashem's will. And he has to set up a force and a counterforce for us then to make a choice between two opposite forces. It is only then that we can achieve our reward, only through Bechira. And that's what Tselem Elokim means. The image of God that Hashem instilled in us means Bechira. Hashem is the Bocher. He is the ultimate chooser to choose to create this world. He can do whatever he wishes. And we have a taste, we have an image, we have a spark, we have an infusion, we have a dimension of that autonomy of Hashem by also having free will choice to, within our world, to make choices between good and evil, between Kedusha and Tuma, between the right thing and the wrong thing, between the soul and the body, between this force and the counter force.